Hey, what's up, everybody? So, CES 2019 is done, and while there was a huge amount of pretty cool tech, and there was a lot of people covering it, there was only two that really got me excited, and it's kind of weird. One of them is, at least, but I'm going to talk a little bit about them in this video. So, the first thing that was showcased, and shout out to Mr. Alan Anthony for sharing that in a live broadcast, answering my questions about it, and just letting me know. So, this one I'm excited for, not because of what it does, okay? And we're talking about the LG HomeBrew. Now, the LG HomeBrew is a brewing machine that you can brew your own beer. It's something that people have been waiting for a while. The ability to brew you a fresh glass of beer. It does different ones, different types of beer, majority of them. And yes, there's some questions in play about how this is all going to work, but the idea behind it is great. And the reason why I say that is because, not that I drink beer all the time, okay? I may have an occasional beer here and there if the situation warrants it, but this is going to alleviate a lot of DWI and DUIs, all right? Reason why I say that is because, let's say that you have friends over, you guys are watching the game, you don't feel like driving, and you don't want anyone driving in your stead to do a beer run. Well, if you have the LG HomeBrew, you can brew you and your friends a glass of beer and enjoy and watch the show. No, nothing to it, right? They had Keurig machines that make soda. They had Keurig machines that makes lattes and coffee and things like that. It's about time that beer was added into it. And people worry that this may not take off that good because companies like Anheuser-Busch and several other brewing manufacturers will not stand for it because it may put a dent in their market. But then again, it may not, because Budweiser's been around for years, Heineken's been around for years, Michelob Ultra, Corona, Blue Moon, they've been around for a long time. So I don't really see it kind of impacting the beer brewing companies like vaping has done for cigarettes. So with that, that's one thing. Another thing too is that those companies can actually get in on this, right? They're going to develop some kind of pod that you put into the machine to brew you a fresh cup of beer, or a fresh glass of beer, might I say, not cup, that's coffee. The cool thing about it is, though, is that Budweiser can get involved into it, Heineken can get involved into it, right? So you have these pods that are meant to be flavored like the different stouts, the different ales that are out there, and so that to me is a way that those companies can get involved. So the plus side to it is that no one has to do a beer run when you guys run out of beer. Just brew you another cup, sit down, kick your feet up, and drink a cold one. The second thing that excited me from CES is the Nexus Air Taxi. And the reason why this thing excited me is because there's there's basically not countless, there's endless possibilities with this technology and where it's going. Sure, today they basically showcased the Nexus Air Taxi. There was one article I read that talked about how it's going to be in conjunction with Uber drivers, and that they were going to have these things at airports that can carry 6 passengers, or up to 6 passengers, I believe, or 5 passengers and 1 pilot. Not exactly sure the configurations. They can carry them from the airport to the central area of the city, where you can connect with the Uber driver that could take you to your family's house or your hotel, whichever you're going to go. And that's cool. The current distance right now that the Nexus Air Taxi can run up to is 150 miles, and the speed it can fly at is 150 miles per hour. So technically, a 1-hour trip will get you to where you're going, and that's the furthest it can go. And so while people are saying, well, it's just an overpriced helicopter and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, for right now, but this technology is new. Not the helicopter side of it, okay? Helicopters have been around for a while. Commercial airplanes have been around for a while. But this way, the way they're pitching the Nexus Air Taxi and what it could be, replacing automobiles in the future, that's where they're really going with it. That's the big picture with this. It's not so much of being able to take you from the airport to the center town of the city so you can get an Uber car to go to your hotel. That's for right now, because it's still in this infancy. Every technology and idea birth has to take baby steps before launch. But the idea of pitching this thing as what they call a flying car. I would like to refer to it as a aero mobile vehicle. Makes the idea that at some point in our future, if this technology is backed and progressed, that these will be the things that we will be financing from dealerships. Of course, several things will have to change, like we would have to get a totally different type of license because we would have to learn about air traffic laws, we'd have to learn about air trajectory and dynamics. We'd have to learn all those things in order to fly one of these things if we were going to pilot it ourselves. But again, the possibilities. Like for me, I look at it like this. 15, 20 years down the road, if this technology is advanced and backed and carefully maneuvered so that there's not a lot of hiccups, bugs, or a lot of things like that we would have to really worry about, except for the minor, normal things that any type of technology developing would deal with. You know, I would love to have something like this. Be able to say to myself, hey, I want to go see my family in Hawaii. I want to go home and see them. So everyone, get in the Nexus and let's go. You know, if it was able to travel long distance, let's say like 15 years down the road, they get the technology advanced enough to withstand, to withstand turbulence, to withstand a lot of pressure conditions in the air, and be able to fly you from your home to a place 8 hours away. That'd be perfect, because I can go see my family in Hawaii, right? You can take trips. You know, trips will be cut down shorter. You don't even have to travel overseas to go to a place to use this thing. You can be like, hey, I live in Arkansas and I want to go to Disneyland. Everyone get in the Nexus. We are going to California. Boom, take off. And that's the beauty of the possibilities of this, okay? So don't take this as gospel, like it's hang on every word that I'm saying, because it may not ever develop into anything. But the possibilities that it could is what really excites me. And the fact that this will open up doors for new types of businesses and the beauty of it, right? Imagine you deciding like, hey, if these things are pushed commercially for everyday consumers out there, right? You open the very first, whatever they want to call it, aero mobile vehicle charging station equipped with, a set of, different areas for where different vehicles can park to charge, in conjunction with businesses, maybe like Burger King or maybe even Applebee's or Outback Steakhouse, for a place to sit down and eat, maybe a couple of hotels around, pretty much like a truck stop, but for aero-mobile vehicles, basically, or AMVs, let's call them that. That would be so cool. And you know what? If you have the legitimate backing funds to do this, you could really, it could be a really lucrative business for you. I mean, that's what I'm saying about this. It's not so much of the technical specs of the vehicle right now, but it's the possibilities that can come. And that's what I feel like Bell is doing. Like, they're not saying it directly, but they are throwing it out there that, hey, we've developed this, and this is how we're going to use it for now. And the technology could advance down the road. And you could be expecting that these are the things that we're going to be, leasing off dealerships. And then people, of course, different models will come out. There'll be competitive companies that are making theirs. And just like the mobile car industry, we could think of AMVs being the same way. Toyota might get in it. Chevrolet can get into it. I mean, like I said, the possibilities is endless with this thing. And it was so cool. And yes, it's just taking a helicopter and modernizing it with today's technology. I get that for those people who are Debbie Downers. But the fact is, it's not so much of the vehicle itself, it's the ideas that can spawn from an idea like that excites me about technology and where we're going. So those are the things that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know in the comment section, what was it from CES that excited you the most, because I would love to hear your guys' ideas and things that excited you. And let me know what you guys think of the Nexus Air Taxi from Bell, and how are you guys feeling the LG HomeBrew? Let me know in the comment section of the video. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed this. Thanks so much for checking it out. And as always, aloha.